Mushoku Tensei cannot stop taking wins. With last week's episode being just straight up amazing, and then now the information that's been coming out for the past few days, and honestly last week that I didn't really make a full dedicated video on, it's legitimately been a good time. I mean, let's go over some stuff that's kind of old news before I get into the new stuff, like, this to, the game trailer and all that, before I cover all this. Last week there was basically, leakers saying that, Mushoku Tensei would be, adapting all of the light novel content in the anime. And many people that probably heard this last week, and I kind of talked about it as well, this is kind of old news. When Season 1 was coming out, like when, Mushoku Tensei Season 1, we were like in the first 5 episodes of the story, there was a comment from animators at Studio Bind that said they did want to make all of Mushoku Tensei into an anime. That's what they wanted to do. But basically, ever since then, it's been radio silent. There's never been any official confirmation, so to speak, from the studio or whatever, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, things can change within years and stuff, plans shift, etc. But basically, in the past week and a half or so, the leakers that were saying there was going to be some big news basically reinstated the fact that, yes, the studio still wants to animate all Mushoku Tensei, which is basically 25 volumes long, and to put this in perspective, we're currently adapting Volume 8 of the anime. Like, this, upcoming episode will be Volume 8. So, there is a lot of content, easily over 100 episodes of the show that is going to be turned into an anime. Easily. Now, that's old news, obviously, but it's nice to get reconfirmation at least from leaks, even if it isn't fully confirmed. It is still nice to have that confirmation. Now, getting into the new information, we have, this. This is a cover of the BD for, Season 2, Disc 1, and obviously this isn't, too big of news, but it does, once again, continue that trend that, Mushoku Tensei really just has good cover art. I mean, if you've taken a look at, let's say, the manga volumes or light novel volumes, I think everybody can agree that the covers really just do go hard. They're pretty freaking good in their own way. They really have a good way to really demonstrate the fantasy and the characters and all that. I really like it. Whoever actually does the artwork for MT, the light novels to just the BD covers, really do put their, A-game in the work. So this is really nice. I mean, I might actually pick myself up the BD, actually. I might order it from Japan. But with that, we move into the other information that came out earlier today, which was the Mushoku Tensei game that gave us a trailer. Now, this could be new news for you or old news, but let's just get cover everything. Let's get everything on the table for we're aware of what's been kind of announced so far. So basically, this news was technically announced back 7 months ago, and it was announced to be basically on PlayStation, Switch, and PC. That's all we knew, and it was just announced with a visual or whatever. And we've been in the dark since then. And earlier today, 7 hours ago, there was a trailer that dropped for the game. And it's a short trailer, it's only a minute long, and to be fair, the trailer doesn't have a whole lot of footage or content. Most of it is just illustrations, etc., as you can see here, just showcasing the characters like Eris and all that, showcasing Ruijerd, showcasing, Roxy's group, all that. It has a lot of, still frames like this. But then, as it carries on, you have moments to where it kind of goes through landscapes, and you kind of get a good feel of probably what the game is going to look like. And when I take a good look at this, okay, and think about just what the anime showcased and all that, and clearly this is going to be following the early stages of MT, the Demon Continent and all that, from Season 1, this does give that vibe. Probably little side stories and stuff that's new that hasn't been in the light novel or web novel. It actually is pretty exciting, but this is really the only kind of gameplay or at least environmental showcasing we get from the trailer, and obviously this isn't the greatest of news, but there is a few things to cover. We do know that this is an RPG. So it's not necessarily going to be just a visual novel. It is going to be an RPG, because obviously when you see visuals like this, it implies that it might be a visual novel. But it could be a mix of both, maybe. But to hear that, MT is going to be an RPG game, and it's apparently coming out on Switch, PlayStation 4, 5, and Steam, That's pretty good news. So this basically implies it's not going to be a mobile game. It's not going to be like a gotcha mobile game. It's actually going to straight up be like an actual console game slash PC game released, which I think is good news. I think legitimately this lets me have a little bit more higher hope for the game, because this means that it might not just be a quick, easy throwaway game to throw on, mobile, and then they cancel the live service in like 4 or 5 months later. It will actually be a game that we could sit down and play. And I'm excited because I believe this is the first time that Mushoku Tensei ever got a game. Like, this is the first time, and I'm happy about that. I'm legit am, because it's always nice to see some of my favorite series actually getting some form of, like, love in different areas of entertainment, and so I will definitely be picking up this game. However, there is something to talk about. There is no announcement for when this is going to be coming out, which I think in the grand scheme of things is good, because obviously it's clear that they're still working on everything. I mean, this footage alone just kind of showcases that. I do think that overall I'm a little bit more hopeful than I am so far with that ReZero game that was announced. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm probably going to play it too, but that ReZero game looked really rough. And, I mean, this one looks like they're still in the early stages, but I do, like I said, I like the environmental design more than what I saw from the ReZero game. That's at least all I'm going to say for now. Anyways, with that out of the way, there is another thing to talk about. I do want to talk about the upcoming episode. So this basically is some early preview shots of, episode 4 of MT. And we get to see, like, a dragon here. We get to see... like, just the expression. This is perfect. This is such an amazing image. This is probably going to be fun now. But we get a little bit of a glimpse of the upcoming episode. We get to see Fitz as well. And it's very clear that we're finally moving into the main meat of Season 2, which we've seen from key visuals and all that, so I think that this is good. This is definitely going to get a lot of people interested. I'm excited about the content. I really am, because there's going to be some crazy stuff that's going to happen soon. But, yeah, I mean, overall, looking at these images, I'm glad to see that we got the dragon as well, because people were concerned that apparently they were going to skip this. I didn't think they were, but people were, worried that this would be skipped. But it isn't. Once again, I think the reason why they went through Volume 7 as quick as they did is probably because they just really wanted to get to the upcoming content, because it's like Volume 7 isn't as important as other things. It's like I've already said, it's important, but not as important as previous stuff. And I feel like this is really the big part of what MT's about, this upcoming stuff. But anyways, I want to leave it at that. I wanted to talk about this news that came out. MT's catching wins back to back, and I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. May you all be safe and healthy. And talk to you all later. Chibi out.